The Mixolydian mode is one that is used widely in lots of different styles of music, everything from pop to jazz and blues. Its distinctive major sound makes it very popular. It could also be described as mellow or relaxed. Listen to how it sounds here with the G Mixolydian scale. The most important note in Mixolydian is the flat or minor seventh. This is the only note that separates the scale from major/Ionian. It provides the smooth, open sound that Mixolydian is known for. Because the flat 7 note is further away from the tonic or one note than in major, Mixolydian has a more relaxed sound that doesn't feel like it wants to resolve as strongly as the major/Ionian scale. Here's a 2-bar G Mixolydian melody with the flat 7th note F in it. I'll play it once so you can hear the relaxed flat 7. Then in bars 3 and 4, I'll repeat the melody, but I'll use the 7th note from the G major, F sharp. Listen to how it has a much stronger pull to the tonic/root note. You want to focus on this flat 7th note to bring out the Mixolydian flavour, but what else can you do to achieve this? If you play notes on a strong beat, then they are felt more and stand out. In a 4/4 time signature with 4 beats in a bar, this would be beats 1 and 3, with the first beat being the strongest. Listen to the following example. In bars 1 and 2, the flat 7th note, F, is played on weak beats. In the second half, it falls on strong beats 1 and 3. I want to give you a few basic melody tips now. These aren't exclusive to the Mixolydian mode, but can help you to think about melodies generally. The main tip would be to keep it simple. In most styles of music, vocal melodies are repetitive, simple, and cover a limited range. Don't overcomplicate your melodies and you won't go far wrong. For example, look at this basic melody in G Mixolydian. When creating melodies, it is important to consider the shape of the pattern. Melodies can move downwards or upwards, in small steps or big leaps. Balancing the movement or shape of the melody is another important part of creating and maintaining interest. Look out for the leaps and steps in this Mixolydian example. I said that placing a note on strong beats can make it stand out. Another thing that can highlight a particular note is making it the highest note in a phrase. This could be used to highlight a key note in your Mixolydian melody, or if you have lyrics, it could be to showcase an important word. It's also important to experiment with and vary the rhythm of your melodic phrases. You can take inspiration from other songs you like, copying the note lengths and fitting in your choice of notes. In this next example, I'll end each phrase with the flat 7th note, F, that was highlighted as being key to the Mixolydian sound. I'll also use a variety of note lengths to create sections that feel high-paced and others that feel more relaxed. Consider mixing up note lengths in your own melody in a similar way. Melodies don't live in isolation, they have a strong relationship with harmony, or in other words, chord progressions. Let's now look at how this relationship works. A melody can be written from 2 broad approaches. You can write the melody first, and then fit chords to the melody, or you can write the chords first, and then the melody. The second approach is the most common, probably because it's easy to strum chords on a guitar or play them on a piano, and then sing along. If you look at a lot of popular songs, you'll see how the chords directly influence the melody with the choice of notes. If you have an existing Mixolydian key chord progression, you can start with this and create a melody for it. You can of course use the tips and ideas already discussed, but now there are a few more things to consider. The easiest way to build a melody from chords is just to use chord notes. Each chord will be constructed with several notes, and whilst that chord is playing, you can use these notes to create a melody. For example, a basic Mixolydian chord progression is 1, 7, 4, 1. In the key of G Mixolydian, these chords would be G major, F major, and C major. G major has the notes G, B, and D, F major, F, A, and C, and C major, C, E, and G. In the next example, I'll construct a melody using only these chord tones. Listen for how the C note sounds when it's held over the chord change from F major to C major, as they both contain the note. This effect is also heard with the change from C major to G major using the G note. Now I'll use the same chord progression and melodic rhythm, but instead of chord notes, I'll use the other notes from the G Mixolydian mode. chord note melody feels really safe, and if you place these notes on the strong beats in a bar, it feels even safer. Notes from outside of the chord sound tenser and unsettled. The level of tension depends on several factors. If it's in the scale of the key, then it will have some tension, with different levels within this. And then if you want greater tension, you can reach out for chromatic or alien notes that aren't in the scale. Writing a melody is a balancing act, building up tension and then resolving it by selecting these different notes. Something you may have seen in songs is the use of borrowed chords. This is where chords from a parallel key are used in the current key. A parallel key has the same root or tonic note, so with our examples in the key of G Mixolydian, we could borrow from G major, G minor, G Dorian, etc. This introduces chromatic notes to the song that are outside of the existing key. These tense alien notes can be very noticeable in your melodies. But as discussed earlier, if you use chord notes, then they feel safer. Look at the following example with the chords 1, 4, flat 3 and 7. There is a single chromatic note, B flat. It is the only chromatic note used. It falls on beat 2 of the third bar, so it is not prominent, and it features in the underlying borrowed B flat major chord. Have a listen to how something feels different with this chord and note, and yet it doesn't sound out of place. The flat 3 chord can be borrowed from the parallel, natural minor / Aeolian, Dorian and Phrygian modes. If you compare G Aeolian with the key of G Mixolydian, then you can see there are two notes that are different, B flat and E flat. Using this, you could expand on the phrase over the borrowed B flat major chord to incorporate both of these notes. Here's the last chord progression example with both of these notes played over the flat 3 chord. Listen to the difference the E flat note brings, and how it is tenser because it isn't in the underlying B flat major chord. In another video on the channel, I created the chords for a song in the key of G Mixolydian. I've written a melody for it here. This uses techniques and ideas that I've discussed throughout. You can see that it has chords beyond the standard minor and major, which I haven't covered in this video. But don't panic, the same rules apply. You just have a greater range of notes in the chord that can feel safe in your melody. Indeed, this is something songwriters do if they have an existing melody and want to match chords to it. Utilising different chord types can accommodate melody notes and make them feel safer. Follow along, listen to the melody, and then have a go at writing your own Mixolydian melody. You've learned about melodies, but there's a wide world of the Mixolydian mode out there. I've made a playlist just for you right here, so make sure you watch that next and improve your Mixolydian knowledge today.